In 2023, Iranian university students and lecturers actively participated in the women life freedom movement within Iran. Their involvement played a significant role in the protest, unscoping a profound cultural, political, and moral divide between the majority of the population in Iran and the oppressive ruling Islamic regime, which is riddled with the corruption. In the past year, numerous students and lecturers experienced arrest and were subsequently dismissed from their educational pursuits and employment. The current challenge we confront is how we can extend assistance to them, and there are several ways that we can help them. For example, we can facilitate a year-long academic placement for an IIE SRF fellow for trained scholars. We can provide matching support of equivalent or greater value to the IIE SRF fellowship, typically in the form of a salary or a stipend. We can act as a sponsor for the fellow visa or work permits in Australia, or we can encourage the government to do so. And we can professional resources, offer faculty mentoring, and provide staff support and guidance to them. Our next panel of speakers, Dr. Azadeh Ganjeh and Dr. Farshid Nowrouzi, are from the academic backgrounds, and they will tell you their stories, but I'll just give you a few information about their background. So Dr. Farshid Nowrouzi is a former assistant professor, University of Mazandaran in Iran, and he got his postdoctoral fellow at UPEC from Paris. And we've got Dr. Azadeh Ganjeh. She will tell her story herself.
Yeah, it seems that you don't have it there, but it's fine.
I don't have it.
Hi, hello.
What's going on in your life?
Thank you. I say hi to the attendees in presence there, and I also say hi to everyone who is online. Hello, Farshid Jan. Good to see you here. Yeah, I'm Azadeh Ganjeh. I have been an assistant professor in the University of Tehran in the School of Performing Arts. And I was also the international advisor for the Faculty of Fine Arts. And I am right now a research fellow in the University of Hildesheim, as well member of the Philip Schwartz Initiative. So, Farshid Jan, I think maybe you would like to start. I don't know if we have to kind of continue like that. It would be great if we can exchange some ideas.
Sorry. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the organizer of the event. I'm Farshid Nowrouzi. I was formerly, as you kindly said, I was formerly an assistant professor in Iran. I was expelled last year after I supported the striking students. Right now I live in Paris, and I have prepared a very short text, if possible, and after that we can engage in dialogue, as Azadeh kindly mentioned.
Thank you.
Okay, so dear colleagues, dear participants, hello. I'm well aware of the famous feminist slogan, "Personal is political," and I do agree with it. However, today, I do not want to talk about myself as an academic figure who was expelled last year in Iran. I do not want to talk about academic oppression in Iran either, because now both the media and my colleagues in this event have touched upon the issue. What I want to mention today is the way the international academic world has responded to the oppression in Iran. Or I'd better say, I want to focus on the failure of the international academic community to respond properly to what is happening in Iran's academic institutions. As you know, Hundreds of university students have been expelled in Iran. As you know, hundreds of teachers have been expelled in Iran. Many of them are now hopeless and helpless because they see no prospect in the academic or professional future. Over the past month, I have been personally contacting many academic institutions in France or elsewhere to find a research position or whatever for two Iranian colleagues who have lost their jobs in the wake of women life freedom movement. The response I have got from these institutions has been the same. No, we don't have enough funding. The answer I have got from these institutions has been the same. No, our priority for scholars at risk is Ukrainian scholars. My dear colleagues, dear participants, I do sympathize with the people who have been affected by Russia's war juggernaut. However, I call upon the international academic community not to forget Iranian students and teachers. My suggestion is to launch a scholarship named Mahsa Amini to help those Iranian scholars, teachers, and students who have actively and bravely supported the cause of freedom in Iran and who now need and deserve our support. Thank you.
Thank you, Farshid Jan. I think what you mentioned is a very sad truth in a way. Although we received some help and also some support, and we saw some accountability from some institutions, but it seems that it was not enough. And it seems that, as you mentioned, there was no priority in some cases, and in particular in some countries, for what happened to members of academia in Iran. And when I say members of academia, I mean the students, the lecturers who were really affected, and also the professors. We have been facing recently the huge suppression happening in the university. We have been recently seeing that how the higher education institutions are using their internal rules to actually suppress the professors. And they do it in a way as if it is legal. They are using the rules that are actually been established and legalized after the Cultural Revolution. I think Rahajan also mentioned some of these facts in her great speech. I think the higher education institutions all over the world should know what is happening, should know how the education system and the structure is actually working inside those institutions in Iran. And what I face here as someone who is still active in the academia is there is a lack of knowledge on that. We can help this, I think. At least we, and I think as I see members of the group who actually made this great event happen, or actually feel accountable for that. And beside that, I think what we saw during the uprising, in the peak of the uprising, what students did, the amount of responsibility they took on their shoulders, they carry on their shoulders, was great. They were doing, in my case, to talk about students which I know, and the major that I am involved with, the art and fine arts and performing arts, they did a great job. They did actually kind of made everyone familiar with protest art in Iran, doing all those non-violent actions inside the university, having all those actions all over the city, like making the pools and the waters bloody, like having big sit-ins, trying to change the space and the segmentation happening in the space between genders in the university, trying to be also the voice of LGBTQ plus community who are members of the university, and they are so much suppressed. And I should say they are members of the university, not only as students, but also we have members among professors, but this is totally suppressed. We have problems with actually having those kind of students during the interviews of art majors, because we have interviews for art majors and we see suppression against LGBTQ plus students when they come for audition. So there is something systematic happening inside, and we have to reveal that. Yes, I know that there is some indifference. Some people are indifferent, but not everyone. And I think what we can do, as also Sadafjan mentioned, is actually starting to give ideas, as you did, like the scholarship you mentioned. And is trying, and another thing we can do is very similar to what Rahajan mentioned with the Baha'i University. We can give freedom of knowledge. We can help with giving freedom of access to sources. Right now, in universities of Iran, many students and most universities don't have access to JSTOR, other sources, which is very important. I think having knowledge is helpful. Making the academia members, giving the academia members to have the chance to access real sources, real facts, and also giving some chances to Iranian members of academia to publish their articles. Because there's another problem in this case. Members of academia in Iran usually face a lot of self-censorship and censorship when they want to publish an article. Indifferent if it is from humanities or if it is from data sciences or anything else, they face censorship. And maybe there is a need to give some access to them to publish their articles in the free academic world. The other thing is to maybe establish, as I mentioned, a university. We have some cases beside Baha'i University. We have the Academia in Exile. We have the University in Exile. We have several institutions, some based in Germany, where I am, who are working in giving courses to and also we have just not to forget the there is an institution who works and the name is oh, just forgot it, but they are actually working on members of academia who don't want to leave their own countries. There is no wish for them to leave the country, but they wish to continue teaching, and they also wish to continue their studies. So it is possible to do something like that. But the important thing is they give you credits on that. And I think this is also important for Iranian students. This is also what is happening, as you mentioned, for Ukrainian students and Ukrainian staff members of the university. They are able to continue their works because they are not facing suppression from their own country. They are in a chaos situation due to the war. So all in all, I think what we can do as members of academia is to sit around, make connections, establish ways of giving access to freedom of academy, and also support when we have the sources.
Thank you. Well said. Farshid, do you have anything to add? Do you have an opinion about what sort of support?
Yes, I do agree with every single word Azadeh kindly mentioned, and I think that the idea of launching a kind of, I can say, alternative institution, academic institution to replace what we have in Iran is very good. I know that it's a long-term project. I know that it needs a great deal of funding and so on and so forth, but the idea is very good. And yes, I want to add one more point. Because right now, as we all know, the academic institutions in Iran are controlled by security officers and by intelligence agents. So I once again firmly stress upon the need to identify the figures who now work in Iran in Iranian academic institutions as teachers, but are serving the interests of the government that cooperate with the regime to oppress students and teachers.
Thank you.
May I add just one point? Do we have time for that?
Oh,
May I?
yes, please.
Yeah, I just want to say there is, after the Cultural Revolution, there was a huge suppression and change in the syllabus of the courses. And I think what a free exile academy can do is to actually change those syllabus, to bring in new theses and hypotheses, to give access to students to have free knowledge. This is also very important because recently, again, there have been a lot of change in the field of humanities on the syllabus, on the study courses, the sources that they have to use, and they ask professors to actually change again and omit some theses from what they teach. So I think this is also important to consider. It is also important when students are applying for their post-graduation or further education out of the country. Sometimes when they ask and they give their numbers or their grades, they are asked why you didn't have such a course, why this course was omitted. For example, in our case, it is about choreography. There are many students who would like to continue dance education, but they didn't have such a course officially in their agenda. So they sometimes face this problem that they can't continue their studies only because they never had the chance to have it as a credit in their courses. This is also another problem, and we have to address it. We have to give knowledge about it to our colleagues.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.